Everybody, welcome to the Fullness of Life podcast. I'm Nancy Carlson, VP of Spiritual Life for Cassia, which is an affiliation of Augustana Care and Elam Care. This podcast is for anyone who is an older adult or has an older adult in their life. Today we're talking about how to foster fullness of life from Haven Homes in Maple Plain. And I have two special guests with me today from Haven Homes. I have Katie Novotny, administrator, and Chaplain Greg Loomis, who is the chaplain out there. So thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for having us.
You bet. So first, can you introduce yourselves and tell us how long you've been with Cassia at Haven Homes? So Katie, would you like to go first?
Yeah, let's do ladies first. That sounds good.
Sure. So I have been with Haven Homes since January of 2019 as serving in the administrator role. However, I have been with Cassia for, I think I'm at 11 years this year, serving other roles. Yes, at other sites that we have.
That's awesome.
Some history with Cassia, and I'm happy to be a part of the community.
Great, we're glad you are too. All right, Greg.
Yes, most of my career I have been a local evangelical free church pastor, but I have served with Cassia two different stints. In Watertown, where I live, Old Elam, Watertown, I was a chaplain there for 3 years. And then I've been here in Maple Plain at Haven Homes since just last December of 2019.
All right. Well, it's great to have you both on the team. I know you bring a lot of wonderful gifts to share with us, so thank you.
Thank you.
You bet.
So our mission is to foster fullness of life in the spirit of Christ's love for older adults. So how does what you do in your roles foster fullness of life for older adults, for your residents and team members at Haven Homes? And kind of in addition to that, has that changed in the past few months with COVID-19? So Greg, do you want to go first?
Sure. I'm the chaplain, obviously, and so I consider my role as I give pastoral care to the 60 plus residents that we have and their families, as well as the 100 staff that we have here.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not trying to replace if they're already part of a church, I'm not their pastor necessarily, but when they're here, I help kind of meet the spiritual needs of those folks. And COVID, I don't think has changed anything, really. No. No, it's...
Really? Are you living under a rock? Or what?
I've been living, yeah.
He's a comedian,
Yeah,
too.
It has changed a lot for everybody, right? So for us, we, did a lot of small groups and large groups and be in the chapel. Well, we can't do that now with COVID. So what that has forced us to be innovative and do is do a lot more one-on-one. And we're slowly, I'll share later a couple innovations or whatever, but basically that's what it's been, is one-on-one. And that's been good because really have got to know our residents a lot better and just more personally. And so that's a good thing.
That is a good thing. It's great having all the big groups and worship and Bible studies, but it's really important to have those one-on-one meetings with people because you do get to know them in a completely different way.
Yeah,
that's wonderful. How about for you, Katie? How has your life changed since COVID-19?
A lot, yeah.
Yes.
I think a big part of what my role is at Haven Homes is to be that support. So I'm there to support the staff and what they're doing, but I'm also here to support the residents and ensure that they have the fullest life they can while they're in our care. And then I view my job as how can I help that? How can I help the staff to achieve that? How can I help the residents to feel that way? So a lot has changed with COVID-19. We've had to do a lot of different, we've had to implement a lot of different things. We have to change a lot of how we're doing things. We're wearing masks every day. We're wearing face shields every day. That makes it hard for our residents who are hard of hearing. They are used to reading our lips. Now they can't do that. So we've had to get innovative. Maybe we were taking paper in and writing it down so that they can understand what we're saying now, or a whiteboard, or, you know, we've had to do it. We've had to be really innovative during this time, but we've been very fortunate to have a lot of use of technology through Cassia to help us through that. You know, we've got the robot, which we were on KARE 11 News for. That was very exciting.
That's right. Yeah.
And we've gotten a lot of use out of that. We have residents, families using it. We have providers using it. And that's relieved our staff pressure for them to be able to utilize that and talk. They operate it by themselves and they can go see the resident, and we're not having to bring an iPad or an iPhone or something else to communicate. So that's helped the staff out, that's helped the residents, and helped the families feel more engaged during this time since they can't come in. But yeah, we've had to, I would say the most changes is just really having to create innovation here. And how do we still keep people connected, but keeping them safe? And I think we've done a very good job of that with Pastor Greg and our activities department. And we've really done a lot of things to help ensure our residents' well-being and mental health, and everything stays well as we can.
Yeah. That's also important, especially when there's so much change all over the place. It's important to have those connections and to keep innovating and to be aware of their mental health too. We want to have everybody have a full life, a wonderful full life, especially while they're in our care. So yeah, very good. So we have 8 customer service standards at Cassia. They are collaboration, compassion, excellence, innovation, integrity, respect, stewardship, and unity. So which one most closely aligns with what you do these days? And we'll start with Katie. What do you think? Which of those customer service standards really is what you do every day?
It's very hard to pick because I think that you really utilize those every day. In one aspect or another, you're constantly choosing from one of those areas in decisions you make and things you do. But kind of with what I previously said, during this time, I think innovation is really the biggest piece of what we're working with.
Right.
I see that as my responsibility to, like I said, just really ensure that we are taking the best care of these residents during a very difficult time, and using the innovative systems that we have, that we're privileged to have here, to do that. And then seeking out any other technologies or things that we can utilize to achieve the residents having that fullness of life. And our staff also, though, you know, their fullness and their mental health is always on our minds too. We want to make sure that they're happy and they're doing okay, because if they are, then they're more apt to be able to care for our residents as well.
You bet. Yep. It is always a trick question, because you're right. We use all of these customer service standards every day. You know, everyone says, well, I had to pick 2, or that's a trick question. I'm like, I know it is. But, you know, I think it's great to have those guiding us, because, you know, we can kind of look back on our day and, you know, we might think, oh, well, nothing really exciting happened, but oh, I collaborated with so-and-so in this, and I was compassionate with so-and-so, and this was excellent, and we innovated here, and we were integrated. So we can go through those and really say, yeah, we are really following those things. So what would you say?
Well, yeah, it is. And that's probably a good feeling that, hey, we are doing all these things. It's hard to pick. So that shows that we're implementing all of those. So that's good. And I could talk about innovation, but let me just say, for me, collaboration, both before COVID and especially now during, where I kind of roam around and do a lot of different things here and there, you know. But every day I'm very mindful that I'm not just doing my own thing. You know, I'm working with our therapeutic rec folks, nursing, our social worker, you know, very much a team effort to give the best care. And now obviously I can't give, you don't want me doing med passes or anything like that. That's I can't do that. But I can do my piece, but it's connected with everybody else. And I don't know. I think we just have a great team here of folks who we realize, hey, we're in this together. And I think our residents appreciate that too, that, okay, this person helps with this need, and then here comes somebody else. And, oh, wow, there's all sorts of people helping meet all the different needs. And so collaboration, I guess, would be a good one for me.
And that speaks to unity too, because like you said, we're all in this together. We've often said we're stronger together, so we're unified in what we do. That also kind of speaks to stewardship, because we're we're being good stewards of our resources, which is our people. And I think you have to have respect in order to get that good team feeling and for people to feel welcome and loved. And we do what we say, so that shows integrity. And so along with all those other things we've talked about, it's like, yep, we are doing those things. That makes for a wonderful environment. And speaking of environments, you're in the middle of a building project. So lots of stuff going on. We'll talk a little bit about what's going to happen in the new building, but what has been your experience of working with the team and trying to foster fullness of life while you're dealing with all these other changes besides COVID and everything else? Now you've got a building project, and as we all know from whatever little projects we do at home, it's stressful. So how are you handling all those changes?
It's a lot. I think what you do though is you just take one day at a time and you focus on what we're doing today. That's how we've been dealing with COVID too, and that's how I've related it back to everybody is we'll take the information that we have today and we'll use that and do the best we can. So it's just one day at a time. We know things are changing constantly with COVID, but they're also changing in the construction as well. It's moving along. There could be a stall date, there could be rain days, or it could be going well and smooth and no bumps. So I think it's just dealing with one day at a time, taking that task for those days, working that out with the staff and keeping the residents informed and staff informed and keeping everybody up to date on what's going on, and just taking those pieces and working on them when we have them.
Yeah.
That
Communication. Yeah. Communication, persistence, just doing one thing at a time. Acceptance too. It's like, well, if this is happening, I guess we'll deal with that, So yeah, for sure. How about you, Greg?
Well, 2 words come to my mind, just patience and flexibility. COVID has forced us to do that anyway. And then with the new building, now we're not there yet. It should be opening up in December. So we're anticipating that, but we're just dealing with what we have right now.
Yeah.
And I think our staff has done well to just say, okay, here's what we have. Here's what we don't have.
Yeah.
Here's what we can do. Here's what we can't do. Let's just keep moving forward.
All right. I think COVID has helped a lot of us kind of deal with all right, let's just accept it. We have no idea what we're doing. When it first came, it's like, there's no manual for this. So I think it's sort of changed all of our experiences, maybe our attitudes about how to deal with that kind of stuff, the change and the stress that comes. So for me, it's always helpful when I'm dealing with a stressful situation or lots of change to have hope, because that helps me keep going. If I hope that things are going to change, if I hope it's going to be wonderful, I can keep enduring through maybe some stressful times. So to the next point, what are you hoping for in the new building beyond some of the amenities, but do you have a vision for what you want it to be?
Yeah, definitely. The new building, one of the things I'm really excited about is to be the continuation of care that we're going to be able to offer there. So yeah, I mean, the building's going to be beautiful and fabulous. There's going to be a lot of amenities there. But above that, it's just going to be able to offer the services that we aren't able to offer here in the current structure. Nice. So having like the independent living, age-in-place model to assisted living. We're going to have a memory care assisted living, which is such a need.
Yeah.
We'll have the long-term care facility with a transitional care separate unit, which is going to be really nice for those residents. And then also eventually opening up adult day center, which we don't have out here.
Nice.
Yeah.
That is the full continuum. That's awesome.
We got it
Yeah.
all.
You got it all. How many units or how many rooms will there be in the new building?
So there will be 83 independent living, assisted living, and memory care assisted living. So 83 altogether there. 64 long-term care and the TCU together.
Okay.
And then there will be the capability of holding up to 25 adult day residents.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yes.
It seems like a great model for what we should be moving towards. I mean, a lot of people say, well, I only want to move once. So let me go to a place where I can just go there and I can be there till I die. Yeah.
Yep.
That is a huge benefit for people. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And what are some of the amenities that have been built into the new building?
That's fun to talk about. So we have, there's going to be a lot of outdoor spaces, which I'm really excited about, outdoor eating areas.
Nice.
There's going to be outdoor courtyards with the capability of people being able to call for our help if they need it. So we can go out there and they can just enjoy that on their own. All the rooms in the long-term care are going to be private with private bathrooms and showers.
Private
So
rooms, nice.
that's a huge benefit
Huge.
for these residents. And that's something that's probably one of the things I'm most looking forward to for them, because they deserve that.
Mm-hmm.
They deserve to not have to have a roommate and to have their own room and to have their own bathroom and shower. And I think we all do. So I'm really excited about that. But above that, we're going to have a full kitchen with, we're going to be staffing with chefs and have some really good food to choose from. And we're going to have a little cafe in there, beautiful rooms for activities and enjoyment and visiting with families. The assisted living is going to have a work exercise, kind of like yoga room that we'll have for the residents. We'll have the beautician in there. Yeah. Yeah. And we're looking at if there's any other amenities we could possibly add with the construction going. So there's some more that might be coming.
Nice.
Yeah. So we're still trying to even add more as we continue.
That sounds great. And Greg, do you want to talk a little bit about the chapel area?
Yeah, one of those things will be, like everything, is going to be new and bigger. And the chapel is going to be kind of right in the middle of everything, kind of right as you come in the main entrance. It's kind of
nice.
So it will serve not only as a chapel, and we'll be able to do a bunch of things with all the digital tools. And so we can have songs on a screen. We can do all sorts of good things like that. And it also will sort of double as a community room, activity room. We could watch a movie, or we could have a big, group for other things. And so, and then I think just, it'll be a good challenge because we have all these different areas. What you do, like, for instance, with a group of people in memory care is different than the assisted living, right? Because their needs and their capabilities are different. But that'll be great because just the variety that that would offer, not only for our residents, but for us as staff, right? We're going to have to learn how to kind of meet the needs of everybody. And from size, what is it, like 3 times the size of our facility or something like that? I would have to ask.
The building or the chapel?
Yeah, the building, sorry.
Oh, probably more than that.
Yeah.
Wow, that's great.
The chapel, I think, is going to be one of my favorite rooms. I've had the privilege to be able to walk through the site a few times, and it is breathtaking already.
Nice.
And it's not even done.
Yay!
It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Nice.
Yes.
Oh, isn't that nice? I can't wait to see it.
Yes.
That's awesome. And with this pandemic that we're dealing with, we've all learned what's really important in those times. Like we have to have access to residence rooms to be able to, play worship videos or hymns, things or whatever. And so it sounds like you'll have all those capabilities so that
Yes.
we can still provide programming to residents. Yeah. And they'll have private rooms. So that is awesome too. That's great. Oh, I can't wait to see it. So what would you say to someone out there in Maple Plain or surrounding areas who's considering moving to Haven Homes? What would you say to them that would encourage them and that they would know that it would foster fullness of life for them?
I think the important thing is to know that it's going to be that continuum campus. So we're going to have that full continuum of care. So if that's something they're looking for, that's something that we're able to offer. I like that we already have a base. We've been here.
Yeah.
People know us. We already have that reputation with the community. So I would suggest that they ask their neighbors, ask their people that they know what they know about Haven Homes, because I'm guessing it's going to be positive and encouraging for them. And we already have that staff base that will be coming with us. So we're coming with our staff. We already know our residents. We're just going to be in a new building. And then I think one of the main important things is we do provide care in the spirit of Christ's love. We are a Christian-based organization, and that is something that I'm thankful to work for. And if that's something that you're looking for, that type of care, then we are the right place for you.
Yeah, amen. Yep, that's right. How about you, Greg?
Well, Katie stole my thunder here or whatever, but
sorry, Greg.
No. I'll just piggyback on her comments about a community feel. I really appreciate that, and I know every facility has its own setting, but we're in a smaller town, but we have not only great exposure and experience, but we have a lot of support from the community too.
Yeah.
We've been here a long time. People know who we are. A lot of local churches. Now we've had to suspend that, but that'll come back. Local churches come in, pastors come in and do a service, groups come in to visit. There's very much a sense of, well, this is our facility. Not really, but there's some ownership and participation, and you never have to twist people's arms or guilt them into doing something. They're very much, hey, of course we want to do this, and obviously you don't have to be part of the community to be a resident here or whatever. Yeah. But that sense of, hey, we're doing this together. And now there are a lot of local people or have some history, here and there, or it's nice like when a pastor comes in to do a service and they're the pastor of some of our residents.
Yeah, that's great.
Well, that's just a great feel and experience. So
it's really a sense of belonging, that sense of community, that we're all together, that we're a family, that it's just, and it's really a blessing when you have that, especially in the greater community too, that they see this as their place too.
Yes.
So that's wonderful.
Yep.
So this is always the time in the podcast where I ask people if they can describe a successful or not so successful moment when you were trying to foster fullness of life in these times. And what I found is the not so successful moments are funnier, but they're harder to share. So if you can share one, feel free. Greg, do you want to take a hand at it?
Sure. We have not obviously been able to do church services. Either I do some, or like I said, local pastors come in and do some. Well, we haven't been able to do any of that, at least as a whole group. But what we on the innovation side is what we have done is we have a little iPad and headphone system. So wing by wing on a Thursday morning, we will do a little church service. So we pipe in, there's hymns that you can sing along, and I have a little message, we have a little prayer, and we do that just 20 minutes or whatever, and then we go to the next wing, and then the next wing, and the next wing, and then our assisted living we do. So usually Thursday, after doing 4 church services, I'm pretty wiped out.
Yeah.
But and the hard thing, which is a great comment by most of our residents, they usually say, "Oh, I wish it was longer," or let's sing some more, whatever.
Yeah.
Well, now we've also done, starting on a Monday, it doesn't matter what day, but just a different day, we have done just hymns where we've just sung along with that. And the people really appreciate that. They can't, they stay in their room or come out in the hallway or whatever, and they can't do it like we normally have done it, but they have really appreciated being reminded of their faith and get to celebrate that. And the first couple times we did it, I'd say half of the residents just cried because they missed it so much, and we're like, okay, well, I guess let's chalk this up to successful. It's not like normal or the usual whatever, but it's a great blessing. So that's our little success story.
It reminds me of shortly after Easter, I was listening to one of our pastors preach a sermon, and he talked about being homesick for church. And, he's preaching in the sanctuary at church, and it's this big, huge sanctuary, but there's nobody in there,
It's empty.
And it's just like, it just hit me. I thought, homesick is what I think we feel a lot of times for those traditions and rituals and those gatherings as a church and coming together. And it's like, and so then when you do hear those hymns or you get to go to church, it's like, it just touches you deep in your soul. Yeah. How about you, Katie? Do you have a successful or not so successful moment to share?
Well, just to kind of piggyback on what Greg was saying, we use those headphones too to do activities. So like bingo in their rooms, and then they get the bingo card, and we're doing things like that. So just back to being innovative, I think that's a big thing of what we've been doing. Some of the things too is we've been fortunate. We have found extra people to work in our activities department, which has been wonderful.
Nice, good.
We're able to do more one-on-ones. We've been taking the residents out for walks every day, weather permitting, and I think that's made a big difference for them as well. Just trying to replace that visits that they would normally be getting with their families with our our activities staff, or any staff for that matter that have any time. We've encouraged that to please sit down and have a conversation or visit, and they just want to tell stories or talk, whatever, play cards, it doesn't matter. A really fun thing that we did, and I think this was on Cinco de Mayo, we went around, we have this big speaker, we went around down each hallway, and all of us got up we had nursing assistants doing it, the director of nursing, myself, we all got up, and we did the Macarena in the hallway.
Awesome.
So we got all the residents to their door, and we're like, let's do the Macarena, come on. Oh my gosh. And the comment from one of our residents was just wonderful. She goes, well, at least you guys tried. Hey, well, thanks. We did try.
Yes, we did.
So the verdict is out whether it was successful or not.
That's right.
But it was kind of fun. They're dancing in their chairs and going along with us. It was very hot, I have to say, and a mask and a face shield. But, we did it, and we had a good time, and it just energized everybody. So
that's great. Yeah, sounds like a success to me.
Yeah, we've been trying to have fun, trying to keep things exciting, a little bit lighter, so that it's not so just monotonous day to day. What can we do to lighten the mood? What can we do to have fun? What can we do to keep you know, the one thing that I remind all the staff of is the residents don't leave here. We leave.
Yeah.
They don't leave. So this is their home. So when you're here, you know, think about that and what can you do to brighten their day or enhance their life today?
Right.
So that's what I try to do.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, you talk about not so successful or successful and bringing joy. You know, a lot of us chaplains have been doing a lot of these recordings, and we do worship service and devotions and stuff, and you're trying to figure this out, and you're doing it on your phone and on your computer and stuff. And one time I was at my piano and I was playing some hymns, and then I turned to the computer to talk, and on the way I hit my knee and I just reflectively said, ouch. And then instead of laughing, I could not stop laughing. So I ended it, and it's a good blooper. So, you know, it's like, okay, well, you might as well have some fun.
That's it.
Absolutely.
That's it.
My daughter-in-law, she laughed so hard at that. I'm like, I know, it's funny, but it's good to bring joy.
Yeah.
So is there any other words of wisdom for our older adults or for our listeners out there that you want to share?
I think mostly for me is for the residents who are residing in facilities like ours, if you have family members, reach out, call them, talk to them, you know, take a half hour out of your day and or send them a card. That goes a long way. And anybody from the community can send cards to our residents here. And we've had people do that, and it really does just brighten their day. You know, we read them to them or we give them to them. It could be something simple like that. We do virtual volunteers too. So we have that with the robot that people can come in and just visit.
Nice.
So yeah, I think just take each day by day and what it gives you and tackle that for today, and tomorrow's a new day.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Don't borrow trouble, right? How about you,
Well,
Greg?
here's my words. 2 verses from Psalm 90 about the older generation here. Says, the length of our days is 70 years or 80 if we have the strength. And that's about the average lifespan. Obviously, none of us know how many years we have or even days we have. But 2 verses later says this: teach us to number our days aright, that we may gain a heart of wisdom. So older senior adults, you know, you may not be able to do all the things that you used to, but you can still do some things, and God is not done with you yet. You're still here, right? Sometimes our residents even say, oh, I'm still here, I'm not sure why. Well, God has a purpose. And if we would love to help you maximize those days that you have here. And so if you want to be a part of our facility or any Cassia facility, we're committed to helping you make the most of your days.
That's beautiful. Well said. Very well said.
Thanks.
Well, thank you, Katie and Greg, for being on this Fullness of Life podcast today. And thanks for our listeners. For more information, you can check out cassialife.org or find us where you listen to your favorite podcast by searching for Fullness of Life. You can subscribe to our podcast by visiting fullnessoflife.buzzsprout.com. So thank you again for being with us today, and I pray a blessing for you and all of our listeners today. So thank you.
Bye now.
You.
Bye.